in Belle Plaine State Forest today, and somewhere in South Jersey. And I wanted to chat a little bit about a devotion that I wrote just a few days ago. And there's a quote from a guy named Smith Wigglesworth. He says this, he says, "Never live in a place that is less than where God has called you to. And he has called you up on high to live with him. God has designed that everything will be subject to man. Through Christ, he has given you power over the power of the enemy." That's straight from Luke 10:19. "And he has worked out your eternal redemption." Now, in reading this the first time, I was looking at it and I was like, you know, never live in a place where God doesn't want you to be. But God ultimately has called us to live with him in heaven, right? But while we're here on earth, where are you living? It's a good question to ask. How are you living? Are you living where God wants you to be? Let me rephrase that. Are you living the life that God wants you to live? And that's a tough question to ask sometimes. It's a very hard question. Are you living the life that God wants you to live? And it's almost this time where we just have to take an audit on our lives and just ask the question, where does God want me to live? Maybe you're about to turn off this video because you're like, too hard of a question, I'm not quite sure I want to go there. Too personal, just too much. But it's such an important question. So we need to stop and just look at our surroundings, our decisions, the choices we make, our relationships, how we spend our time. Like, these are all just really, really important questions to consider and look at in your life, right? Like, God has called us to this incredible life with him. And how much time are you spending with him in this incredible life? Does your life seem even that incredible? Like, that's a great question to ask. Like, does my life seem that incredible? What is it all about? And I know that this kind of video devotion is kind of comprised of like a ton of questions, but it's good to ask questions every once in a while because we get so wrapped up in so many different things. We're like, no, wait. Let me just ask the questions and see if these questions are right. So our God calls us to him, calls us to live with him in this life. Are you doing that? Right? Like, again, hard questions. Quick comment on that. Maybe the question back to me is, how can I actually do that? How can I live the life that God wants me to live, right? It's a great question. Our relationship with God is just that. Like, that's how it starts. It starts as a relationship. It's not just a one-way street where we're just like, hey, God, I need this, I need that. Give me this, give me that. I pray for this. Like, it has to be a conversation, right? An ongoing back and forth, a real kind of back and forth, spending time with him, seeing who he is in your life, spending time in his word. That's why we do these devotions every week, because we just want to spend time in his word to see who God is and what he wants us to be in our lives. It's so, so, so important. Who's this spirit that's inside of us, right? This Spirit of God guiding our steps and guiding our path. So today, maybe you're having trouble just answering those questions. Maybe you're having a tough time understanding why it's even important. You're like, my life's pretty good. Like, I get it. It's all good. Maybe today is the day to start asking questions and just start realizing who God is in your life and how he can be even more in your life. Like, it makes me think, like, I came out here this morning, I think it's like 8 or 9 in the morning right now, and I was just thinking about, like, what it all looks like when we ask those questions. Like, who is God in my life? How does he work in my life? Am I spending enough time with God in my life? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. But I know that for me, over the last couple of months, since I've gone full-time with this ministry, my relationship with God has changed. And it's changed not just because I'm working full-time for him now, and that's certainly part of the reason. But the other part is like, I want to seek him deeper. I want to know him more so that I can incorporate who he is, the decisions he has for me, into my life. And I know, again, I can't answer that question for you, but I wish I could. But it's just, maybe in the comments, just write what you're struggling with. What you're struggling with in your relationship. And I mentioned in our devotions this week that I started using a thing called a prayer bowl. And it's really radically changed the way that I look at my prayer life every single day. Like, I have this bowl and I put prayer requests in it. I write them down, literally write them down, and put them in a bowl on my nightstand. And then in that nightstand, there are prayer requests. And I wake up in the morning and I see it. And then I go to sleep at night, just before I go to bed, and I look over and there on my nightstand are prayer requests. And now I'm literally just thinking, oh, right. I have to pray for these requests. I have to pray for my kids, pray for my wife, pray for this ministry, pray for all that's going on so that God can be involved in every aspect of it. And again, like, you may be like, where's the time to do that? How can I do that? Like, you're different because you're just living, full-time ministry. But I don't think that's it. I think God is calling us to be called into a deeper relationship with him. So today, take an audit of your life, your time. Ask these questions. Like, these are important questions to ask. Am I living the life that God wants me to live? Let me just stand here for a minute and ask that question to myself. It's hard. But am I living the life that God wants me to live? And then if you don't have a solid answer for that question, that's all good. Like, that is actually totally cool. But I think we need to start asking that question to ourselves, and then in our prayers, maybe if you get a prayer bowl, so we have the prayer bowls available if you want to grab one. They're over in the store, over at buydpstuff.com. But maybe get a prayer bowl, and one of the cards that you write is, God, am I living the life that you want me to live? And get ready for an answer. Man, I remember about a year ago I started praying and just talking to God and saying, hey, what is this going to look like? What is all of this going to look like as we go full time with this, as we take this out? Like, worship, yes. Prayer, yes. Ministry, yes. Devotions, yes. But how is this going to work in my life? And over the past year, he's certainly answered a bunch of those questions. And some of them I haven't liked the answer, and that is just part of the reality of it all. Because as that conversation with him deepens, as you get more and more involved with who he is in your life, he's going to bring forth some stuff that maybe you don't want to deal with. That's tough. We're going to have to. Okay? So, step forth in your relationship with God. Start the conversation again. Maybe the conversation's been ongoing and you just need to pivot the conversation a little bit and just say, maybe this is what it is. But again, I'll ask that question. Are you living the life that God wants you to live? Okay? Man, it's a bold question. But start asking that question today. Get your prayer life going. Grab a prayer bowl. Start putting prayer requests in it and put it in a place that's very prominent in your life so that you see it often. And it changes. It just literally changes the way you think. Instead of grabbing the phone in the morning now, I start praying instead. It's been incredible. So there you go. I'm going to take a few pictures around here. It's gorgeous this morning. And then we've got a show tonight in Cape May Courthouse, and we played last night in Hainesport, New Jersey. Had a great evening of worship. So thank you guys. Thanks for being a part of this, and thanks for being a part of this ministry. And I hope that you continue to use these devotions in ways that just draw you closer and closer to Jesus. All right, so today, are you living the life that God wants you to live? We'll see you guys on the next one.